Hello, Caliber here. It is that time of year again where we start doing our rundowns, our top 10s, our top 5s, plans for the new year, that kind of stuff. So, as you will see from the title, this is my top 10 tarot decks of 2024. I am hoping to do a sort of Oracle and or Lenormand one. I don't think I would be able to do a Lenormand one separately because I don't think I have enough Lenormand decks that I've worked with this year, but I could combine that with Oracle because I don't have many Oracle decks either, so I feel like it makes sense to sort of smoosh those two together. I could technically, I guess, do a top 5 of those, but let's round it up to top 10 because I did top 5s last year, and actually I want to include more this year that I'm talking about. So yeah, first of all, before I sort of get into the decks, I would just like to say thank you to everyone who is taking part in my little tarot advent project that kicked off on the 1st of December. It's been pretty amazing seeing all of these you know, VRs, shorts, reels, Instagram posts just popping up all over the place with regards to this little project, tarot project, and I'm really enjoying seeing all the many ways that it's been interpreted, and I've said previously that's why I kept it sort of open and loose for people to just have fun with it, because you know, it's an advent, it's meant to be fun. It's a little bit of tarot chocky for you every single day. I have yet to post mine. I do have my cards, but I haven't posted my cards for today. The day that I'm filming is Saturday the 7th of December. This video should be going out tomorrow on the 8th. So yeah, with that all out of the way, with all that preamble, I'm just going to show the 2 decks that I at this point are just a given in any of these top decks for the year. Just surprising no one who knows me, Tarot of the Magical Forest. It's a mass market low Scarabeo deck. I have had it for a decade. I have modified it many years ago. I love it to bits. It was a gift from my spouse in Christmas of 2014, I think it was. Yeah, it's the bondage poodles. It's kind of a little, I mean, it's looking good. If you look at cards in person, you can really see how scuffed the cards are. They're sticky, like they look well loved, but in the best possible way. I'm waiting for the day they start to, oh hang on, I say that, waiting for the day they start to chip, and as I said that, I can see just the tiny, I don't know if it's going to show up. Can you see the edges of those a little bit at the top there? There's there and just there and there. So I'm doing it backwards because of the way it's filming. Yeah, I feel like eventually they're gonna like really start to chip and peel away, and I do think I should probably get a backup copy of this. Of course it won't feel the same because this is like the OG, but I don't know how I would feel not having a copy of this deck, you know, in my life. And the other one is going to be the Sassafraas Tarot by Stasia Burrington. This is my like 2nd or 3rd printing with the glossy cardstock and the book that doesn't fit in the box, but I love it. And someone very kindly sent me the Tiny Traveller earlier this year, and I adore the Tiny Traveller, and I'm including that in with this one. That one is downstairs in my sort of like hallway credenza area, because that's one of the decks that I have as an option, being a pocket deck, for readings when I'm out and about. Oh, just this, such a good depiction of the 6 of Swords. This really does, you know, speaking of decks that kind of do their own thing, you know, this is a Smithwaite based deck, but there's some really interesting interpretations of the cards, and you know, I don't 100% love every single one, but I do appreciate, like, I know a lot of people are not a fan of this 6 of Pentacles. It's a real sort of Marmite card with the sort of the give and the take of the 6, which feels less of that sort of charity and more of a reciprocity. Come on, camera. Which I really enjoy. So yeah, this is a given, along with its wee sister mini version. Okay, so onto the decks. So some of these were new to me this year, or Christmas just the last year. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them I've received in the last year, and the other 4 I've had for a while, or a little, you know, had for longer. I'm just gonna go in along in this order. There's no rhyme or reason to them. So one that I got for Christmas last year from my mum. I asked for it for Christmas. It's a mass market version of the Fodor Pavlov tarot. This is put out by US Games, and it's I mean, I love Fodor Pavlov's artwork. I would really love a spicy artwork version of a deck from them, because, you know, it's their saucy work that I really appreciate. He does really gorgeous. I really love the sort of the blushes and the rose tones that he uses in a lot of his artwork, in like his saucy artwork. Come on. I like that this deck, you know, obviously it's inclusive, it's trans inclusive, it represents trans bodies in some of the cards, which I appreciate. It's very readable because it's clearly based on a Smith-Waite. Like, there's no what's the word? There's no, I mean, this is, of course, the Judgment card is, I say that and I'm showing a Judgment card which sort of does deviate from the traditional messaging. It always makes me think of the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, actually, this particular hooded figure. But generally, as a rule, it's very Smith-Waitey and easy to read with if you are au fait with the Smith-Waite system. Got some, just, there will be nudity, just FYI. But it's just really sumptuous. The whole production of the deck is really sumptuous. The artwork, the cardstock. Come on, it doesn't want to focus on the boobs. It's like, no. The card backs are really nice. They have a gold foil stars, the gilding, the box. Everything is very nice. The book that comes with it, the little hardback book, and I really like that the suits are color coded. Each of the sort of you know, swords, and you know what the suits are, you're watching a tarot channel. They all have their own particular colour. So here we have swords with this sort of, quite a sort of tomato based red. It's almost like a Giallo Films kind of red, that kind of tomatoey red. We have, oh, hang on, we have the wands, which are this green. It's not quite an olive, it's almost like a mix between a khaki and an olive green, maybe. There's a slight sickly tone to it, which I quite like. The coins have this lovely warm goldeny orange. It's not quite a yellow. The colours don't really show up quite right on my camera, but you sort of get the idea. And then the cups are sort of that watery sky blue. Come on, camera. There we go. But isn't it sumptuous? Really lovely. Oh, the devil card. I'm not going to show this. Spicy. This devil card is pretty spicy. Okay, so the next one is one that I bought myself with some Christmas and birthday money. I think it was in December or January. And this one was inspired entirely by Ken Bogle in the tarot reader and medium in Living for the Dead. So it's just the golden universal tarot. This is the backs. I do wish the backs were kind of bling. I feel like the backs let the deck down a little bit. This camera does not want to play ball at all today. I edged mine in black. This is one of those decks that I have out at the moment because it's really stunning in ambient light, much like the Golden Thread Tarot. Now, I know some people I've seen in the past criticise that there's, can you see there on like the Pentacle, for example, there's bits of like scuffing, and it's deliberately so. It's not, that's not chipped away. There's deliberate bits of foiling missing from some of the foiled areas, so it's not, it's like deliberately imperfect, which I know some people really didn't like about it because they said it looked like that it's scuffed. But that's what I like about it, that it does look like it's a little weathered and worn, right? And actually, if the foil does scuff off a little bit in other areas, you won't be so like freaked out by it, because it's already got that slightly worn in, sort of pre-worn in look. There's our Queen of Wands with her little cat, familiar. So yeah, I mean, it's just a straight up Smith Waite. It's not doing anything revolutionary at all. It's, you know, very cis-het white. You know, I'd like to see a version put out that is, you know, more like, oh my god, could you imagine a gilded version of the Fodor Pavlov, like the front's gilded as well? Maybe that's what we need. That would be awesome. So yeah, really just enjoy, I don't know, just enjoyed working with it. It's just very, I don't know, just enjoyed it. Another one that, this one was sent to me by Ethany earlier this year, back in sort of July, August time. She got in touch and said, hey, do you want to like have a look at some decks? Do you want to pick some decks? And I only picked this one. I'm very bad at like accepting anything, whether it's like gifts. Like, I'm terrible at accepting presents unless it's from like my like my mum or like my sister or my spouse. Like, but like anyone else, I'm always a bit like, I don't know what it is. And you know, this was like, I was gonna have a look at it and review it and everything, but do a walkthrough, unboxing a walkthrough of it. But I'll just pick the one, but very restrained. And this was a deck that I had on my wish list anyway, and it was the Penumbra Tarot. This is a stunning deck. This has been created by Eris Elizabeth, who is an artist I really like. I think she's awesome, and I think she's currently working on another deck. I think she said recently in a video. She's actually, speaking of the Tarot Advent, she hasn't been Eris hasn't been making videos for quite a while here on YouTube, and she decided that this little Tarot Advent would be the impetus to get her back onto YouTube making them. So I'm truly honoured, because I really love her work. The book's really great. Ethany wrote the book alongside Eris, and there is a playlist. There's a song for each card, and there's a playlist that you can go and listen to for the deck, which is just, isn't that just fantastic? The song is listed for each card in the book. It has really interesting takes on, so this is the Ace of Pentacles, and I do still get the ace and the pages, the aces and the pages a little mixed up, because I find them a little confusing. Oh, I love this world card. I just really love the painterly, loose, like artwork. I just like Eris's artwork. This King of Pentacles, very pan, with the green man there above him in the tree. Love this depiction. So yeah, I really enjoy it. It's very colourful. It's a little tricky for me to shuffle, especially at the moment. For me, I couldn't riffle shuffle this anyway. So I pretty much overhand and side shuffle / waterfall decks at the moment. But I was a bit worried because it's quite big. It's bigger than sort of, say, a standard Smith Waite, and the gilding is it's a tiny bit ouchy, a little pokey. It is a gorgeous sort of coppery colour though, which is unusual. You don't see that very often. The backs are very nice. So yeah, this has been, I've been working with this since I unboxed it in August, and I've had some really lovely readings. In fact, the last time that I wrote in my tarot journal was with this one. I spoke in a live chat that I did last week when I launched the Tarot Advent project, that come August, that was my last entry. That's not true now, because I've been journaling the Tarot Advent project, but I found I really burnt myself out on journaling. I was just doing a lot of, you know, it was tarot, it was oracle, it was Lenormand, it was like really hardcore, and yeah, I just sort of go in cycles. I imagine I'll get a fresh wind about me in the new year, and I'll be back to sort of journaling. I'm just going to try not to do it every day, because I think that was where I made the mistake. So what I was doing is I'm looking over here because my phone's plugged in next to me. I was taking pictures and maybe just doing a little and occasionally sharing them on Instagram. So the way that I sort of came up with all these decks was I was looking back here through sort of January through August, and in my phone, in my, what do you call it, your photos, scrolling through my photos, the pictures that I had taken, because usually I would usually do 3 cards and I pop them on my altar. I'm just pointing that way because that's where my altar is. I lay them out and I would take a little picture, and then that would be my reading, and I might like do add a little note to that. But yeah, so actually I might just pop this out of the way so it's not right there in front of me. So yeah, that was the last, before I started this Advent project, was the last written reading that I had put in my book, in my tarot journal. The next one is oh god, I don't know what it is, I'm so itchy. Sorry, I keep like, ugh, I don't know what it is. I think it's because the weather has really shifted and gotten quite cold, and then my skin starts to like really dry out and get like itchy, and the same thing happens when it switches to like warmer weather. My skin just freaks out, so it's adjusting. So excuse me if I keep like doing little scritchy itchies. Skin's feeling a little tight and uncomfortable. So yeah, the next one is a deck I've had for maybe 5 or 6 years. It is the Tarot Classic. It's a vintage. This deck is over 50 years old. This is sort of my go-to study Marseille. It's not a true Marseille. I just love the colours in it. I love the cardstock. I love the size of it. I love that I've kind of just, it's just so familiar to me. I love that it's a deck that I really knuckled down on the Marseille with, and whenever I go back into like my Marseille tarot study, which I've done a couple of times this year, this is usually the deck that I work with. So when I did Tarot on Earth, this was mostly this and the CBD, but this is the one that like really did it for me. Like this is the one I find attractive. The CBD, I've come to sort of enjoy it, but this is the one that I aesthetically is more pleasing to me. And it just feels, it's well worn. I mean, it was vintage, but it came wrapped. It hadn't ever been opened. So I was the first person to actually work with it, which was really exciting. And it's got a little bit of a riffless bow, but I haven't been able to riffle it much recently. I don't know if you can tell, it's got a little bit of a riffless bow, but it's held up really nicely, and I love how like the side of the cardstock just gets a bit grubby and grungy from being shuffled so much. So that one, actually, funnily enough, this was the deck that I was fiddling with whilst playing Call of Cthulhu last night. I play a lot of tabletop RPGs online with friends, and we're playing a really fun game at the moment based around sort of body snatchers, resurrectionists, and the like. And my character that I'm playing, she's a charlatan. she's a medium and a tarot reader, but it's all a sham. She's a fake, which I think is really funny that my GM, my game master, assigned this character to me specifically. He actually said, as soon as because we were playing pre-generated characters rather than coming up with our own for a change, just to keep it easy for a short campaign. And he was like, I saw this character and I knew immediately that it was you, that was out of everyone. I assigned your character straight away. I knew that this was going to be for you. I was like, thanks. So what I did is I was shuffling. I always have a tarot deck when I'm playing, whether it's D&D, Call of Cthulhu, whatever game I'm playing, just to keep my hands busy so I can focus on, you know, on the game, keep my fidget, like a fidget toy, I guess, but it's a fidget deck. And it turned out there was a situation, because my character reads the tarot, I was in a situation where my character could read the cards for someone, and so I used this deck to read the tarot, but I had to, because I'm in character, I couldn't read the way that I would usually read, and had to read it as my character. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I am going to be posting about it today, because I'm going to use the 3 cards that I pulled as my card pull for today for the Tarot Advent, because when I looked through my Bohemian Gothic tarot, I hadn't pulled any of those cards yet, which is really fortunate. So I'm like, these are going to be my 3 cards for the Tarot Advent. But yeah, I was basically reading tarot as a in character, wild. Really weird experience to read tarot in a way that I wouldn't. Anyway, so that's that. I'm probably just going to post about that. It'll probably just be a photo and a little bit of a little text post underneath on my community feed and my Instagram accounts, so check those out if you're interested. That'll be later, well actually it'll be yesterday by the time you're watching this, if you're watching this on the Sunday. Right, okay, so we're only 4 down and we're 20 minutes in. Right, let's speed it up. Okay, another deck is, let's see, let's mix it up a little bit, is a deck that I've had for a while, I don't know, 4 or 5 years at least. It is the Melanated Classic. It's the original printing, which has the 8 of Wands on the back, which I have kind of made my peace with. But I worked with this, like looking through my tarot journal, like I had worked with this quite a lot. It's straight up Smith weight, but it's been redrawn to feature only people of the global majority, which I really enjoy. It's redressing a massive imbalance. Obviously it's still structured within those, like, you know, you're still getting you know, cis het normative, you've got like the Pope and things like that, so it's still sitting within that structure, but it's sort of featuring only people of colour, which I like. Come on camera, don't be a banana. So yeah, it's really readable, and it's very, when I looked back in my journal, I was working with this quite a bit in February, which tells me that I was really hankering for a bit more brightness after the months and months of winter darkness. And I actually am a fan of the colder, darker months, sort of September through to maybe the end of January is when I thrive. It's my favourite time of year. I do actually, I tell a lie, I do enjoy the spring. I just really hate the summer. I just hate the summer. I love this. Here we've got someone with vitiligo for temperance. Come on camera. The camera's really being extra douchey today. Like, I know it has issues with focusing, but for some reason today extra so. I don't know why it's being so bad. Anyway, but yeah, there's like, look at this golds and yellows, and these real, like, beautiful, like, look at these blues and yellows together. It's just really, it's joyous. And so I think, you know, a lot of they're just enjoying it bringing the sunshine that it brought in my life in a way that I don't find uncomfortable. You know, I'm not great in the sun. I usually find overly sunny weather quite overstimulating and hard to, like, it's sensory overload for me. Okay, another deck that I really enjoyed is a deck that I got last year. It's a Pip, not a Marseille. I've edged mine in black, and it is my Le Tarot Interdite Vampiria. It's a French deck. The book is in French. It has some really interesting interpretation. So this is the Hermit, the Recluse. They're sort of locked away. It features humans and vampires. It features vampires through time. So we've got real, like, old world vampires, and then we've got sort of contemporary. We have queerness. We have come on camera. I'm pretty sure I switched off the autofocus on my, when I was set up the properties of my camera, but maybe I didn't. Strength is a maiden with a werewolf, which I really like. Yeah, it's just, so here we go. We've got, like, look at this, and she's like blowing bubblegum. The death card is so metal. Let's show you some Pip cards, because that'll, here we go. We've got David from The Lost Boys. That's my headcanon. They're only noodles, Michael. Oh my god, and Grace is basically Grace Jones, my favourite temperance card. Oh my god. I know I say it every time, but just love Grace Jones. I was, like, so obsessed as a child with Grace Jones. She just mesmerised me. So, like, you know, swords are swords, mirrors are the cups, we have stakes for the wands, and then we have the, like, coins, the silver coins for the pentacles or the coins. So yeah, I just really like it. It's fun. You get a bunch of extra court cards, but I've sort of pulled out the ones that I like to use now. I used to keep them all in, but it started to get, I was like, this is confusing me. Another deck. This was a deck that I got at the beginning of this year. I used Christmas and birthday money. It's hella pink. I love it. Oh, it kind of goes with my pink in my jumper. It's foiled in pink. The back is pink and shimmery, and the Zecharana. So this deck is, or has, I don't think it has completely gone out of print, but basically the artist Julie Rich said she would just concentrate on just being a straight up paint artist. She didn't want to be a vendor anymore. So once these oh, this is, I class this as my card, the maker. There's the patron as well, and I do keep them in. This is weird because this deck, so for example here, you know, you can tell this is the Ten of Swords. The wands especially are very pippy. Here's an example. You've got quite a simple sort of scenery in the background, so it's like scenic pips, right? Pips with feeling. I really love the quartz in this. Where did it go? Where did it go? I really love the quartz in this deck. They're just wild. I love the colours. It's so scrumptious. But yeah, the ones are just so, especially so pippish, that they almost feel kind of incongruent with the rest of the deck. And I don't know if this was the first or the last set of court cards that were made. I mean, even the swords do have that a little bit. Here we have the Nine of Swords, for example. But then when you compare it, say, with like the Nine of Cups, which looks a bit more how we would expect the Nine of Cups to look like in a Smith Waite, where we have the cups all lined up and then this character having, is that a capybara? I can't remember. Having a great time. Reveling. I mean, just the most wild sun card. Very My Little Pony there. Oh, I love the like Aurora Borealis in the background there. So yeah, which I incidentally got to see in London twice this year, which is amazing. I was like, I always wanted to see the Aurora Borealis, and those of us in the UK and across the world actually have been able to see the aurora, not to the extent that you would if you were like right there in like Iceland, for example, like seeing it really glowing and stuff. But and when I went up to Scotland in September, I was hoping to be able to see it because they have really clear skies where I was staying. So just open, you could just vast, you know, you can see the sky is lit up with sparkly goodness, which you don't get here in London. There's so much light pollution. And my friends, where they are, they see the Aurora Borealis quite often, but we didn't see it, and I was so like, damn it. Not fair. Okay, so another deck that I absolutely loved this year, it's a chunker. It's Heartwood by Three Trees Tarot. Stephanie sent this to me. Oh my god, Stephanie. Artwork by Adam Ohlers. Concept and designed by Stephanie Burrows. Absolutely just the sweetest thing, and it put me in mind a little bit of the Halloween tarot, where you've got the black cat in all the cards, like traveling through all of the scenes. And this one we have a mouse that is sort of traveling, a little fool of a mouse traveling through. Then here we go, look, there's the mouse again in all the cards. And I've actually still got this, cut this out for winter, because the Three Trees Tarot decks always feel so autumnal to me, because there's such a warmth and a coziness about the decks. But I do think that then also lends itself to winter. And I was actually chatting with my friend T over at Cosmic Creepers Tube, who has been doing the Tarot Advent with this deck, because it felt quite festive with the cozy vibes. It's very sweet. I'm very excited. They've got another deck that's in the works at the moment. which, yeah, looks very cool. It's going to be all black and white, in like black ink work, featuring a little character going all the way through the deck again. It looks like it's going to be really, really cute. But yeah, there's a real storybook quality to Adam Ola's work, which makes sense because he's an illustrator. And I've found this one more readable for me than the Oak, Ash and Thorn, which is the other Three Trees tarot that I have. I have Thistle Down, the Oracle, as well, which is it has my heart. My goodness, that deck is so nourishing and supportive, and always gives me just what I need, and has got me through some like gnarly times, I have to say. Okay, another tarot deck. It's really, really wee, so it's going to be really difficult to show, but this has been like my go-to, like, travel on the go Marseille deck. So my travel on the go to non-Marseille are usually like the Next World Pocket Edition and the Morgan Greer in a tin, and what's the other one that I had out? Oh, the Tiny Traveller that I mentioned with the I'm pointing at the Sassafraas, but you can't see it. And then I do have Marseille decks. I do have the Maria Celia, and that was like my main Marseille deck that I would take out. But since getting this deck, and I think it was September last year I got it, so it was still relatively new to me at the beginning of this year. And it's the Marpandra V by Auntie K. And it's like real. I think it's the smallest deck that I own, other than maybe I do think it's a little smaller than my Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. There's so many characters in here I just love. Oh, it's gonna be really. My camera is not behaving today. I wonder. I'm gonna have to check the settings afterwards because I'm so sure that I turned autofocus off. Oh, there we go. See, yeah, it worked. So many wonderful characters. We have a happy squirrel, which, yes, I do keep in the deck. For those of Simpson fans. Oh, the Queen of... I know every time I share this deck, I know I talk about the Queen of Wands, but, like, I love them. Krista, aka RCK, has such a way of creating characters that I just want to like hang out with. There's this one guy, the Lilies card in her Brown Witch Lenny. This guy, he just looks so... I just wanted to hang out with him. I just want to have a chat with him. We have the Conjurer for the Magician. Oh, I really need to get my arse into gear and get a regular sized version of this. I can see it better now that I have my proper reading glasses as well. But yeah, you have people of the global majority. We see people with different abilities. We get to see different gender expression. Like Krista did a great job with this, and I really like that you have like these illustrated characters, but then you have the photos, like the photographs. If you can see there's like, it's on the backdrop of an actual photograph, and it brings, and I guess it is called the Marseille Pondre V, so bringing to life, or of life. I can never remember the actual, my French is rubbish. But yeah, it lends such a vibrancy and liveliness to the deck, so I'm just sitting here like looking through it, just like making googly eyes. But yeah, I really like it. So yeah, that made it in. So yeah, that's usually downstairs as well. I had to go downstairs and grab that. That's my my little on the go. And I did make a teeny tiny little bag for it as well, which is just, it's so cute. It gives me cute aggression. And the final deck, which I do have to say, this was the deck that came into my life this year. I backed it on Kickstarter last year, and it's been probably one of my favourite decks. I love the colour palette. I love the depictions in it. I love the humour in it. I love this guidebook that you do have to buy separately, but I 100% recommend it, even if you don't have the deck, of buying it if you read Marseille, for a different view of the Marseille. And it's the game Marseille by Charlie Claire Burgess. I do believe that you can now just buy this deck. Charlie ran a really tight Kickstarter campaign. It all like seemed to go pretty smoothly and on time for the most part. Really great communication. I'm a Charlie Claire Burgess fangirl. I love their work. I love their books. I've been obsessed with Radical Tarot since getting a copy of that this year. That's going to be like my fave tarot book of the year, is the Radical Tarot, and the guidebook that I got separately for this. They're both the go-to books for me now. That's it. That's it. It's just nice to have a Marseille that looks like a classic Marseille, but it ain't. Like, it's radical, you know, because I have grown to be quite fond of this sort of classic Marseille style of decks, you know, that illustration style, which I never thought. If you'd asked me like 7 years ago, I'd have been like, don't be ridiculous. And here I am, sort of, you know, the colour palette. And I know Liz at West Star Tarot was saying how this is the Marseille deck that captured her attention, because the colour palette is so much more appealing to her. Hey Liz, if you're watching, love you. She's been taking part in this tarot advent as well, been making some interesting videos because she's working with this deck, incidentally. So yeah, it's in that style. I love it. We've got like a bum bag. I guess you'd call it a fanny pack in the US, right? Yeah, it's subversive, it's radical, it's playful. There's also serious points being made in this deck. Again, we get people of the global majority, people of like with disabilities, you know, we get queerness represented in its many colours, with regards to like trans bodies and queer joy and queer history, all of which is not fun, you know, let's be honest. There's the fights and it feels like we're going backwards, unfortunately. I think this is my favourite tower card of all time ever. Stonewall. I mean, I don't know why the camera is being extra awful at focusing today. Not very good, is it? I'm filming a video to show you cards, and I can't bloody show them to you. So yeah, this Justice card. You know, it goes up there. There's a number of decks that I just feel like are doing important and interesting things. So this is one of them. Obviously, the Marpandra V, definitely as well. Obviously, which I've just shown you. Next World Tarot, is one of them. The Fodor Pavlov, even though it's very Smith-Waite, there's sort of really interesting depictions, and we have a trans artist being, you know, mass published. So, you know, the needle is like moving barely. You know, we've got the Melanated Classic. I just really enjoy having these options that represent the world that I see around me, my community, my family, my friends. It's just, you know, I think it's awesome. More please, more please. So yeah, it wasn't a massive year for getting decks for me. I didn't opt to do a low buy or a no buy. It just sort of worked out that way because I haven't had the excess funds, and any excess funds that I have had has gone on different things like roller skating equipment and things like that. So yeah, we're nearly at 40 minutes, so I'm going to leave it at that. But I hope that you enjoyed this little romp through my top 10 decks of 2024. Like I said, I'll try and do sort of a Oracle / Lenormand one as well in a couple of weeks maybe. And yeah, what was your favourite deck of 2024, or your favourites? Let me know in the comments. What was your favourite deck out of the ones that I showed? Did any of my choices surprise you or not surprise you? Are you surprised to not see a deck that you've seen me work with before not in here? I mean, I love, like, you know, they're all my babies, but we have to narrow it down and, you know, ask me in 2 weeks time and it might be slightly different, you know. It's like tarot itself, it's all about the moment, capturing what the answer would be in the moment, and any kind of certain parameters that change might change the answer, hey. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch and or listen to me ramble on about something that I love so much. I hope wherever you are watching you are safe and you are well, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao.